The Vanishing Files. Episode 1. The Missing Pages. Monday, 7 a.m. The CEO enters the office. He walks toward his desk. He scans the desk, furrows his brow. Last Friday, he forgot to lock the drawer key in his safe. He searches around, then found the key lying on the floor. He picked it up, unlocked the drawer, retrieved the bid proposal, and headed out. 7:15 a.m. As the driver took off toward the submission site, the CEO flipped through the pages. Halfway there, he sensed something was off. His eyes narrowed as he flipped through the pages faster, growing anxious. Several crucial pages were missing. The CEO leaned forward urgently and instructed the driver to turn back. He pulled out his phone and messaged the secretary's group chat to check for the missing pages. 7:45 a.m. CEO returned to the office. The CEO enters briskly. Secretary B approaches him, concerned.
We couldn't find any other pages. And Secretary A, the one responsible for the proposal, called in sick this morning.
Sensing something was wrong, the CEO immediately made a call and demanded,
"Get me security and a detective, right now."
The Vanishing Files. Episode 2. Surveillance Footage. Monday, 10 a.m. The detective arrived at the office and scanned every detail of the room. His gaze settled on a security camera mounted near the secretary's workstations. He enters the CEO's office where the CEO is waiting.
When was the last time you saw the full bid proposal, intact?
Last Friday, around 5 p.m., I placed in the drawer, left the key on my desk, and forgot to lock in the safe.
Who has access to your office?
The CEO hesitated, then began listing.
At 5:15 p.m. on Friday, CEO's brother entered the CEO's office to briefly discuss work. At 5:18 p.m., the CEO stepped out to use the washroom. At 5:20 p.m., the CEO's wife arrived and waited for him to return from the washroom. The CEO's brother exited just after she arrived. At 5:25 p.m., the CEO returned and he left together with his wife. At 5:30 p.m., Secretary A enters, reportedly to deliver documents. Shortly after, Secretary B unlocked the CEO's door and let the janitor in. At 5:35 p.m., Secretary A exited the office, handed the CEO's office key to Secretary B, and then left the building. At 5:45 p.m., the janitor exited the CEO's office after cleaning and remained in the secretary's area. At 5:55 p.m., Secretary B entered the CEO's office to turn off the lights, then locked the door before leaving the building at 6 p.m. At 6 p.m., the janitor began cleaning the secretary's area just outside the CEO's office. At 6:05 p.m., the CEO's brother returned and knocked on his office door. The surveillance camera shut down at 6:06 p.m. due to low battery. No footage is available after that time. What was each individual doing inside the CEO's office? What happened after 6:06 p.m.? When did the janitor leave the secretary's area? Did the CEO's brother re-enter the CEO's office? One truth lies beneath the silence. The pieces are shifting. See you in the next clue. The Vanishing Files. Episode 3. Interrogations. The detective addressed the suspects.
As you may be aware, a few pages from the CEO's bid proposal were found missing. Surveillance footage shows that each of you entered the CEO's office at some point last Friday. I need to know exactly where you were and what you were doing after 5 p.m.
Interrogation with CEO's brother.
Why did you visit the CEO's office?
I wanted an update on the bid proposal. I was part of the project initially but moved to another big one. My brother assured me he had it under control but didn't share details.
Surveillance shows you remained in the office after the CEO went to the washroom. What were you doing?
I stayed to wait, but I got a phone call and had to leave.
Did you notice a key on his desk?
No, I was standing by the door. But I did see his wife enter, and she leaned over the desk before I left.
Why did you return after 45 minutes and knock on the CEO's office door? Did you go inside afterward?
I came back to continue the conversation with my brother about the bid proposal, but the door was locked, so I left.
Interrogation with CEO's wife.
Why did you visit the CEO's office?
I was waiting for him so we could leave for a family meeting.
Did you notice a key on his desk?
Yes, but I didn't know what it was for.
Do you often visit his office?
Not really. I try not to interfere with his work.
Was the drawer closed properly?
I didn't notice. But my husband is very tidy. He always clears his desk and empties the paper shredder before leaving.
Interrogation with Secretary A.
What were you doing in the CEO's office?
I was delivering documents to his desk. The janitor was present and can confirm it.
Did you notice the key to the locked drawer on the desk?
No, I was not aware there was a key.
Secretary A was responsible for the bid proposal project and claimed she had no reason to tamper with it. She also mentioned that she had to leave work early and handed the CEO's office key to Secretary B, asking her to check and lock up the office before the end of the day. Interrogation with janitor.
Secretary A said you were with her in the CEO's office. Can you tell me what each of you was doing while you were in there?
I was there cleaning the garbage and recycle bins. I saw Secretary A place documents on the desk. She told me not to touch them.
Did you notice anything inside the paper shredder?
No, I was instructed to clean only the paper recycle bin.
Did you clean the CEO's desk? Did you happen to see a key on it?
No, cleaning the desk isn't part of my duties, so I didn't notice if there was a key there.
The janitor recalled seeing Secretary B enter the CEO's office after cleaning, and that Secretary B locked the office door afterward. Interrogation with Secretary B.
What were you doing in the CEO's office?
Secretary A gave me the CEO's office key and asked me to turn off the lights and lock the door at the end of the workday.
Did you see a key on the desk, the one to the locked drawer?
I'm not sure. I stayed near the doorway and just glanced around the room before switching off the lights. The light switch is located behind the door.
Did you notice anything unusual?
I was only in the office for 1 minute. Everything looked as it should.
Is someone hiding the truth? Both Secretary A and the janitor mentioned Secretary B. Could Secretary B be the prime suspect? And most importantly, where are the missing pages from the bid proposal? One truth lies beneath the silence. The pieces are shifting. See you in the next clue. The Vanishing Files. Episode 4, Motivations. As the detectives sifted through the suspect's phones, they uncovered secrets that would crack the case wide open.
It says here, you pushed to initiate the shareholders' meeting earlier than originally scheduled. Why the sudden urgency?
It was a strategic move. Timing is everything in business.
And what about these reports, attempts to bribe or buy out shares from other board members?
I made offers. Business offers. If they chose to sell, that was their decision.
Or maybe you were preparing for more than just a meeting. These were found in your photo album, taken by a paparazzi agency you hired. Care to explain?
I had to know the truth. I had a feeling, and I was right.
You were tracking your husband?
I was gathering evidence to file for a divorce.
Was this just surveillance? Or did the CEO's wife also plot revenge, sabotaging the bid proposal to make the CEO pay?
We reviewed your photo album. Looks pretty cozy. That's the rival CEO's son, isn't it?
We know each other. But that's personal.
And these frequent calls with his father, the rival CEO?
They were about a business case. Our company was working with theirs, but it didn't end well. We stopped collaborating.
Stopped? Or were you still helping, just not officially? We went through your call history. You and Secretary A spoke a lot. Care to explain?
She usually let me know when it was okay to clean the CEO's office. Nothing more.
Then there's this, frequent calls to the rival CEO.
I clean for them too. Just housekeeping stuff. He's a client.
A janitor coordinating with a secretary and calling a rival CEO directly. That's pretty interesting.
These are your messages with your best friend. You sound upset.
I was frustrated. I work late, I stay on top of everything, then she gets the title just like that.
And you believe she got it because of the affair?
That's what everyone was saying.
Was it just frustration, or did that resentment drive her to sabotage the bid proposal and set Secretary A up to take the fall? Everyone had a motive, but who had the opportunity? Stay tuned for the next episode, Revelation. The Vanishing Files. Episode 5, Revelation. The bid proposal was locked. The key was left on the desk. By morning, the proposal was missing key pages. Everyone had a motive: jealousy, ambition, revenge, or greed. Now, it's time to connect the lies, the timelines, and the truth. Who slipped the pages out? Who knew where to look? And who orchestrated it all under the camera's blind spot? This is the moment everything unravels. Friday, 5:25 p.m., the janitor called Secretary A to confirm whether 5:30 p.m. would be a good time to clean the CEO's office. 5:30 p.m., the janitor arrived but did not see Secretary nearby, so she asked Secretary B to unlock the CEO's office for her. Upon entering, the janitor found Secretary A already inside, standing near the CEO's desk. After Secretary B exited and closed the door, the two were alone. Both noticed a drawer key resting on the CEO's desk. Without hesitation, Secretary A picked up the key, unlocked the drawer, and retrieved the bid proposal folder. Being in charge of the bid proposal, she quickly flipped through the folder, extracted several key pages, and handed them to the janitor.
Shred these, then empty the bin.
Secretary A, familiar with the CEO's meticulous routine, knew he always cleared the shredder and took the contents to the recycling bin at the end of each day. By taking this step early, she hoped to avoid suspicion. 5:35 p.m., because she was supposedly there to deliver documents, Secretary A made sure not to linger, leaving shortly after the pages were destroyed. 5:40 p.m., before leaving for the day, Secretary A handed the CEO's office key to Secretary B, ensuring she'd be the last to leave, setting her up to take the blame for what she and the janitor had done. 5:45 p.m., the janitor exited the CEO's office after placing the bid proposal back in a locked drawer and emptying the shredder. So now you know how it happened, but why did Secretary A and the janitor do it? As it turns out, the janitor wasn't who she claimed to be. She was working undercover, planted by the rival company as part of a corporate espionage operation. Her mission: spy on the company and keep tabs on Secretary A. The rival CEO had been using Secretary A to obtain confidential details about the bid. Since Secretary A was romantically involved with the rival CEO's son, she was promised their marriage would be approved, but only if she helped secure the win on this bid.